Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about SEO. Now, what is SEO? SEO means search engine optimization, and it's all about driving the most organic traffic from search. Usually when we talk about search, we mean the Google search engine, but this actually applies to more than just Google. And the reason we want to have the most traffic is because, well, what a website's for other than driving traffic to them, getting the most sales, getting the most influence, and SEO is often the first step towards all the rest. Here we're not going to be talking about SEA, which is search engine advertising, but only about what you can do with your website to make sure it drives the most traffic. So we're talking about SEO and not SEA. First, if we haven't met before, my name is David. I'm a marketing director in a company called EcoTree, and it's my daily mission to make sure our website is optimized for search. So SEO is part of my daily mission. So first, what is the first step? The first step is to plan your SEO. Now, what does that mean? That means initially start by brainstorming keywords that you want to rank for. And then you have a tool called the Keyword Planner, which I'll link to in the comments below, which is created by Google. And that allows you to say, for this keyword, what is the volume of search that is currently being carried out over, say, a month on the search engine, and what is the difficulty, what is the competition? That is, how many people are searching for this word and how many people are providing answers. And the ideal situation is to have a keyword where a lot of people are searching for the keyword, but there's not many people providing web pages to provide content for that keyword. Obviously, that kind of balance doesn't really happen very often, but basically what you want to do is to optimize a high volume with low difficulty. So you want to try and get those keywords. So ideally what you do is you brainstorm your keywords and you give them a score for difficulty and a score for volume, and you sum up those scores, put the scores in the same kind of direction. So the easier it is, the higher points it has, and the greater the volume of search, the more points it has. And then you rank the ideas by total score, and that gives you the best keywords to attack, to optimize for. Then the idea is for each keyword set, at least, because you can have, obviously, you have synonyms and stuff like that which are in the same semantic group, but every single one of those groups you only want to have one single page that is answering the search query. Google needs to know where it needs to go, so only one keyword idea per page, and then you make sure that each page is optimized for that keyword and that group of keywords. How do we do that? Well, the first step is to use the important fields to indicate the text, the keywords, to use the keywords that you want to rank for. And that means the web page title, that means the H1 field, and make sure while you're at it, don't put the same text in the title and the H1, because it's a wasted opportunity, because both of these fields are important. And so we want to provide the most information possible. There's a limit on the width of the title, so that it shows up correctly in the search engine results. That limit is roughly 70 characters, and the H1 you have a bit more leeway, and so you want to have as much content as you can in there, and having the same text in the title and the H1 is kind of a waste of content, a waste of space. And then there are other fields on the page which are important, which indicate that these are the words that you want Google to rank you for, and that's the header tags, the H2, H3, H4, and so on. And then there's also the strong and the EM tags, and to a lesser extent also the bold and the italic tags. And those should all have text which is relative to the keyword and which makes sense in the context of your keyword strategy. Next, write good content. Now that means content which is original, and by original I mean original within the website and original as compared to the rest of the web. If you copy paste text from a different page on the web, Google is just going to say, okay, somebody is looking for this, obviously the original source is a better source for this content because I've seen it before, and that's what I'm going to drive people to. So if you want people to come to your web page, you need to write original content. That content needs to be relevant to the keywords that you're trying to target. It needs to be interesting in the sense that it needs to be well written. Google is going to look at how people react, how long they stay on your page, if it creates engagement, and it needs to have substance. That is to say, there is a certain volume of text, you need to go for at least 700 words to be able to rank for a lot of context. If you're just arriving, obviously if you're Wikipedia, which you're not, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video and you don't need to manage SEO. But if you already have a good, what's called a domain authority, a good reputation with Google, that's slightly different. But if you're creating content and you want that content to rank in the search results, you need to make sure there's enough text for Google to have substance to read and to rank on. Now, you also need to create good, healthy backlinks to your web page. And these backlinks need also to be relevant to your page. The reason why backlinks are important is that Google's algorithm is based on a trust metric, and that trust metric is transferred by links. So if a very important website, a media, Wikipedia, a website that Google knows and trusts says, okay, the authority on this subject is this page, and we indicate in the links that this is a link that we trust, then Google is going to transfer trust or juice to the page that it's targeting. So basically your search ranking is a function of the number of good incoming links on your page, both on the website as a whole and on specific pages. This means that conversely, if a website with bad authority, which is known to be scammy, is linking to your website, that's bad for you. So you also want to say, you want to look through the websites, the links that are coming in, using the Search Console. We'll see about that later, but look at the pages that we're referring to and what their reputation is. There's a tool called Moz, which will tell you the domain authority of websites that link to you, and that will give you an idea of how trustworthy they can be on Google's end. And if you have trustworthy websites linking to you, it's good. If you have untrustworthy websites linking to you, that's bad. And the way to build backlinks, that can be a whole subject in and of itself. Basically, it's basically public relations. You want to have people write about you, and the first step in that is obviously to write good content for them to want to link to you. And then to publicize your page, make sure people know about it. You can, if somebody is writing on a subject on their web page, you can say, hey, we've got this content that you might be interested in linking to. You can exchange links if they have a good quality website. And the important thing is also that the links that link to your page need to use the text that you want to rank for in the link itself. And the last thing is, there's a way in HTML of saying this link, this outgoing link, I don't want you to trust it. I don't want Google to consider it to be a transfer of authority. To that you say no, you add a no follow tag or a no index information in the link. So obviously you want the links coming in from trustworthy domains and trustworthy websites to not have that no follow or no index indicators. Now, Google also uses the internal links of the website to build trust. The content that you want Google to discover needs to be available by clicking from your homepage. So basically Google uses the links and crawls the page to discover what content it needs to index. There's also another way of using it which has what's called the sitemap, where you say these are all the pages in my website, but the transfer of links inside your website is also a transfer of trust. And lastly, outgoing SEO links also can help for your ranking. Sixth point is you need to make sure mobile works well. Today, about 60% at least of users are browsing the web on a mobile device. And if you use Google with a mobile device, Google will only show you results of pages that are suitable for mobile. So if your website is all broken on mobile, if it's not responsive, then it will not show up for search results on Google, and that's 60% on mobile, and that's 60% of the users on the internet are using a mobile device. At least 60%. It's going up all the time. And it depends obviously on which market you're in and what subject you're talking about. But a rule of thumb, 60% at least. And so if your website is not optimized for mobile, that means if the text is too small, if buttons are too small, if things are too close together, if it's clunky, if it's not fast in terms of mobile, if a user with a 3G connection tries to access your website and it's slow, then that will cause the website to have lower rankings on Google. There's a tool called Page Speed Insights by Google, which allows you to measure a kind of a score of the speed of your web page on Google. Now, another rule is don't cheat, don't overdo it, don't try and bend the rules. One important thing is don't do keyword stuffing. Don't add emphasis or strong to text which is inside a title or inside an H1, and make sure that the backlinks that are coming towards you are of good quality. Don't buy scammy and poor quality backlinks. You can do affiliation if you want, but bad backlinks are bad. It makes sense, but you also need to polish the meta descriptions. Meta descriptions are what shows up in the search results page. Underneath the title of the page, you have a small text, which is a rule of thumb is something like 150 characters. It kind of depends on language and device and stuff like that, but that's kind of, you need to stay within that range. And the better the text is, the more people tend to click on it, and the better the click rate, or the CTR, the click-through rate, then the more traffic you'll have, first of all. And if Google sees that there's a lot of click-through rate, and that will bring the rankings up. A better CTR means better rankings, and a better CTR means more traffic. So there's also, as an aside, you can also specify a meta image, and that will be relevant mostly for if your page is shared on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, and so on. And that's where the meta image is going to show up. Now, you can also, in fact, you should add structured data. Now, the structured data you're going to add is going to depend on what the content is on your page. Structured data, which you can see on schema.org, has different use cases. So, for example, if you're presenting a product on the page, then you can specify the product. If you're giving an answer to a question, if it's an FAQ, you can also give that data in a more digested form, condensed form to Google. Basically, structured data allows you to say to Google, here is a summary, a condensed form of what this page is about. And lastly, use the Search Console. Google Search Console is your friend. Google is your friend, but Google Search Console is even more your friend. The Search Console allows you to see what are the errors that Google is seeing, to see what are the links coming in. It just gives you a general audit of your website, and it's free, so it'd be a shame to waste that valuable resource. And of course, I'll be providing links in the comments below. Now, that's all from me for now. If you have any questions, if you have any doubts, if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for listening.